at the cornerback position. Obviously, on the screen grab, you got D'Angelo Pons and you've got Chris Johnson. Guys, D'Angelo Pons is going to break my heart. If he is somehow, some way there at 52 and we pass on him, it's gonna destroy me. And it's all going to be because of the size, right? It's going to be because of his height. That's all it's going to be, height and weight. So when you look at our board and how everything lines up, here is the order in which the cornerbacks rate. You've got Mansour Delane out of LSU with a 9.0, Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee, at a 14.1. Emilio, you're seeing right off the bat, these are two guys that are above everyone else, right? With Delane kind of in his own tier, right?
Yep, Delane would be in that first horizontal column all by himself. Jermod would actually be all by himself as well in the horizontal board. So it's going to look pretty empty when you're going left to right across that horizontal board in that far right cornerback column there. That's not ideal.
Yep. And then Avian Terrell at 23.3, Colton Hood at 36.1, and then you've got Chris Johnson down here at actually I got that mixed up. He's a 36.1. It was Colton Hood. It's hard to see on the screen.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. 36.1 for Chris Johnson. Now you're going Clayton. You mean Chris Johnson's going to be there at 52? He has been for us several times, but understand his draft stock is really starting to soar. He got a 5-point bonus at the Senior Bowl. He dominated. Dane Brugler had him at 38. Tankathon had him at 45. The only thing giving me hope is Daniel Jeremiah did not have him in his top 50. So maybe that holds him out a little bit. Because since his big board had him at 46, PFF big board had him at 43. PFF grade, he's gotten good. He's gotten better every year. He's an ascending player. He was the second highest graded cornerback this year. Now, if you go down one more, D'Angelo Pons, 12th, 28th, 6th last year, 40.4 grade. All right. The PFF big board had him at 58. They're saying he should be there for the Packers at 52. Consensus big board had him at 62. He should be there for the Packers at 52. Tankathon said 48. Dane Brugler said 40. So when you really break this down, I think Colton Hood will be long gone. There's an outside chance Chris Johnson and or D'Angelo Pons will be on the board when we pick here, Tim. I know everybody's going to say, no way can you draft D'Angelo Pons because Gutey will never go for the height. But if Chris Johnson's gone and Pons is sitting there, I'm running the card. This dude, he's such a fascinating prospect, Tim. Look at the green here, the heat map here for the cornerbacks. And when you notice D'Angelo Pons, look at him down here, all the way down, right? So when you go man coverage versus zone coverage, green in man coverage, right? And then you've got green in zone coverage. When you jump back up to Chris Johnson, you've got green, red, green with man coverage. And then you've got red, white, green in zone coverage. So if you just looked at that, you remove the names, you remove the height, Tim, D'Angelo Pons is the better cornerback according to this heat map right here.
Yeah, and that's what we do, right? We're drafting football players, not body types, not feelings.
We would. I don't know if Gutey's going to.
Exactly. My money's on Chris Johnson, right? That's that.
Right.
He's in that wheelhouse, right? 6 feet, 195, something like that. Graded out, I believe, in the 90s according to PFF last season. Both two of my favorite corners, though, honestly, in this draft class. I feel like we're good either way. If we can grab one of these guys, we're going to be a better football team, I think, in the secondary. That being said, yeah, I'm with you 100%. If for some reason D'Angelo Pons is on the board in the second round, we gotta run that card. But me personally, I despite looking at this chart, and you see some inconsistencies with Johnson, I do think Chris Johnson's probably my first or second favorite corner in this draft class.
There you go. Soder says here in the chat, longest body with the best RAS will be the cornerback pick. Emilio, we've seen it time and time again, right? And, of course, Brambo said, hell with it, redact the names. That seems to be a theme in today's society. Don't redact the names, but we'll leave that alone there. Emilio, what do you think?
Gutey's over here like,
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
What do you think about this, Emilio?
Redact the age while you're at it too, right?
Yes.
But he's a grown-ass man now. And
this guy coming in at 25 years old, it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. You might get a little pass on that. But I'm with you, Tim. I love Chris Johnson there early. But I do think the meat and potatoes, like TJ's been saying, it's probably third, fourth round. You might still be able to get a steal. Malik Muhammad, Chandler Rivers, somebody like that down there, just a little bit lower. Igbinosun, I would take it. He got a little bit of red there, but you know, a guy that plays at Ohio State knows he didn't play great this year, but played really well the year before, I believe. So he, let me just double check. I think he has that skill that we could use. Yeah. Oh, he played well this year. The year prior, he had a 65.9, so not great, but a guy that knows how to handle the big time, you know, big school, all that. Really kind of anybody from Igbinosun down to, you know, more, well, wouldn't be probably terrible later on in the draft. Again, that's all how it falls. Round 2, round 3. We already talked about D tackles. Who are you going to take? You only get one pick, and it's going to be a long time for us to go. What do we pick 52? So
yeah,
we've got a while to wait. I mean, that board is going to be, we're going to fall asleep and then open the draft again before technically we pick if we don't trade, right?
Yep.
So you've got a lot of movement that's going to happen, and a lot of players off the board.
That backs up your point from earlier. You know, all the more reason that you've got to have your targets and your guys, and you have to be willing to adapt and know who the next guy is going to be, because we're going to have plenty of time to sit here and watch names fly off the board for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So again, if you were to remove all the names or redact them, like Brambo said, you would hands down go, okay, whoever this guy is out of Indiana, he's the dude, right? Like that's what the map shows. It is. Now, when you look at some of the other guys, who comes in second here that would be in our range? Who would we like the most here that has less red, right? So let's just see. Let's just kind of glance. Let's go from Chris Johnson down, because I feel comfortable saying from there down, we got a realistic shot of having somebody, right? I mean, who grabs your attention? Maybe Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
Malik, yeah, I like Malik, definitely.
Yep, and I think the Packers, let me double check, didn't they meet with him, Emilio? I think they met with him already too, which makes sense. So,
I do. I believe they did.
Yeah, I'll check it real quick. Let me see here. Malik Muhammad. Yep, they met with him. They met with him at the Senior Bowl. So,
and coming out of Texas, who did he go against last year? Or I'm sorry, the year prior? He went up against Isaiah Bond. He went up against Matthew Golden. You get a guy that knows how to handle speed, all that.
That's a great.
He's in that sweet spot again, right? 6 feet, 185 or something like that.
Yep. And
we all know he's got a type, right? And
we've got him in the 119 spot on our board. Okay, so now Dane Brugler had him at 90. Tankathon had him at 67. So they're suggesting he's going to be gone a lot sooner. So you're probably wondering, why is he so low on your board? The PFF grades were bad. Like, maybe not bad, but not as good as others. 121 at his position in 23. Then he fell to 298. Then he fell all the way to 346. So it's like, if you were to, let's say Malik Muhammad stacks up in every other category with, D'Angelo Pons, right? And you're trying to compare the two. And if that was our cluster buster, hands down, Malik Muhammad would not be the pick because of the PFF grades. But again, that's why we've got so many factors into our board. Does that make sense, Emilio? That makes me a little nervous that you got a guy who's gotten worse every year, according to PFF. That would kind of lend a little bit of credence to the fact that he'll probably drop farther than like Dane Brugler sees him at 90, you know?
Yeah, you're talking Malik, right?
Yeah, Malik Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he have an injury at all? Because I see we only got 11 games out of him. Did he miss some time last year?
We'll have to look that up, Tim, because I'm not sure. But I do see what you're saying, though, there, Clay. It's he went from 121st to 298, 347. So he was falling. I said maybe the thing that's holding him up is that with their WAR rankings, I mean, out there when he's on the field, he's still benefiting the team, though his grades aren't great. Maybe they're looking at him a little more. Maybe they're throwing at him a little bit more. We'll see. But again, another guy from a big school, things like that, you're not going to get anybody in the top 5, I wouldn't think. So you're looking Chris Johnson down, and you're probably going to call it before Everett, before you get yourself into a little bit too much red. So you're really looking from Chris Johnson to Moore. And then, Marshall down there, not looking too bad. But again, you're coming from NC State. What's the competition like? And that was the other thing when DJ was saying, he was like, all right, so if you're watching tape on players that could be D2, whatever, D3, or anything like that, don't even look them up. Don't know who the player is. If you're watching the tape and they pop off the tape at you, okay, that's an NFL prospect. So like when you're watching tape, maybe you don't look at just, the person you're looking at first. Okay, who's that guy that's really showing out there? Who's that guy really locking stuff down? Then you go back and look it up, and that really, comes into play when you're looking, when we talk about the arm length and, you know, the range and stuff like that. Like if you were to say Pons, right? Okay, I'm watching Indiana. Okay, this corner, he's tearing it up. And then you look at the measurables after the fact, you're not going to negatively, ding the guy because you've already seen that he's able to play without having that preconceived notion of, all right, he's 5'8", 160, no way he can play, doesn't have the size, all that stuff.
Right. And Brambo in the chat says, what about Moore? All right, so he's talking about the kid out of Florida. Yeah, Devin Moore. This is interesting.
200 pounds, monster.
Lord have mercy. Gutey's slobbering right now, dude. You kidding me? Whoa. Look at the PFF grades. In 2024, 271st at his position, and then he jumps all the way to 43. So he's ascending coming into the league. He didn't have a 23 ranking according to this. The PFF Big Board had him at 339 early. However, the consensus Big Board has him at 75. Tankathon said 95. Dane Brugler said 73. He lands with a 106.8 grade for us in the 113 spot. If he's there at 120, run the card. And when you look at the heat map, like Brambo says here, with Moore, the only thing that's really in the red is the passer rating when targeted. Now, it's bad, 125.0. However, when you look at his yards per snap at 0.69, probably gave up a lot of touchdowns. It's probably what you got there, right? Would be my guess. So, and his forced incompletion interception percentage is at 25%. So a quarter of the time, he's either forcing the incompletion or picking the ball off. Okay. Now, when you go to the zone side, that was man coverage. If you go to the zone side, it's green across the board, right? Yards per snap, 0.80. His FI to interception is 23.9%. And then you've got the passer rating when targeted, 61.2. So he struggled in man coverage with that 125 passer rating when targeted, but was dominant in zone coverage. That might be why he's probably going to hang around in the draft a little bit. You have a shot at getting him there late. Man, that's wild what Tim said there, Emilio. 6'3".
Yeah, he's a monster. He's played the most football he's ever played, though, last year. I mean, you had 8 games in 23, 7 in 24. He played 11 games last year. Also a guy that can play in the box and the slot on occasion as well.
There you go. So, yeah, Brambo, good pull there, buddy. Good pull. There was one more at the bottom of the list I wanted to hit. Davis down here out of Washington. Is that Tacario Davis? Am I thinking right? Is that his name? Tacario. Yeah, Tacario Davis. So we've got him in the 260 spot on our board. He's got a 193.7 grade, which would say he's worthy of the 193rd pick, essentially. Tankathon had him at 140. The reason he's so low on our board, he was 40th at his position in 2023. He dropped all the way to 735 in 24 and then climbed back up to 480 in 25. So the PFF grades were bad in terms of ranking at his respective position. The consensus Big Board had him at 109. The PFF Big Board had him at 153. Like I said, Tankathon at 140. So Tacario Davis on this chart here is
another
showing
big dog, 6'4", 200.
There you go. Green in man coverage, then pink, green in zone coverage. So you're seeing that's a little more stable than some of these higher rated prospects here. Emilio, what do you think about Tacario Davis, man? Tim, you said 6'4"?
PFF's got him at 6'4", 200 on the nose.
So
only played 7 games last year too. So check injury on him too.
Definitely want to keep our ear to the streets on Tacario Davis at the combine, right, Emilio, and see what he actually measures out at. He may check out at 6'4". It may be 6'2". We know PFF's been off on that stuff in the past a little bit. So
absolutely, yeah. Looking at it, played outside pretty much his whole career. Can go a little versatile, man. He's got a couple lined up at D line, but his passer rating when targeted. This past year, 50.6. The year before, 85.8. The year before that, 23, 76.9. He's got a run defense grade this past year of 81.8. So he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. I wouldn't be opposed to that, right? Take a runner on him, especially with his size, speed. And if you can get him later on in the draft, like we've been talking, it seems like corner you might be able to get away with a little bit later on in the draft. I'd be all for it.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for cornerbacks. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about the cornerback position going into this year's draft? Would you rather them spend 52? Would you rather them go 84? Would you rather them go 120? Where do you want the Packers to take their cornerback at in this year's draft? Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon for us. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that.